The phone buzzed against the kitchen counter, its sharp vibration cutting through the steady hum of the refrigerator. My hand froze mid-stir, the wooden spoon hovering over the simmering pot of marinara. The screen lit up with her name, Elise. I wiped my hands on a dish towel, the faint smell of garlic still clinging to my fingers, and picked up the phone. Her message glowed in the dim light. Working late with Joe tonight. Don't wait up. A cold knot twisted in my stomach. Joe, her boss, the CEO of Harper and Stone Law. His name had been creeping into our conversations more and more, sharp, splinter-like, impossible to ignore. I typed back. Okay, my thumb hesitating over the send button before I pressed it. One word. Too small, too hollow, carrying the weight of surrender. I set the phone down and stared at the bubbling sauce. My thoughts frothed like the pot, slow at first, then boiling over. Elise had been distant for weeks. Her laughter muted, her eyes slipping away when I asked about her day. I'd told myself it was the pressure of the firm's big case, the one she said consumed every hour. But now, with that text burning in my head, doubt crept in like fog, thick, suffocating. The apartment felt unbearably quiet. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each second stretching longer than the last. I turned off the stove and left the pot behind, sinking into the couch. My fingers traced the worn leather where we'd sat just last weekend, her legs over mine, her hair brushing my cheek as some forgettable movie played. That moment, once sweet, now felt like a memory stolen from someone else's life. I tried to reason with myself. Elise was driven. Ambition had always been her fuel. Late nights weren't new, and Joe was her mentor, the one who'd pushed her into a junior partner seat. Of course they'd work closely. Of course she'd stay late. But it wasn't the hours. It was the way she said his name lately. Joe, soft, reverent, not like a colleague, but like a secret. It was the way she'd started locking her phone, a habit she'd never had before. Individually, the pieces were small. Together, they clinked like pebbles filling a jar, each one adding weight until the burden was undeniable. I grabbed my phone again, scrolling through our recent texts, a graveyard of one-word replies. Busy, tired, later, no warmth, no emojis, no spark. I opened her contact photo, a candid shot from Maine last summer. She was smiling wide, eyes crinkled against the sun. The ocean stretched endless behind her. I proposed that day, kneeling in the sand. She cried before saying yes. Staring at her face now, I wondered if that version of her still existed. The clock read 9:17 p.m., too early to panic, too late to ignore. I poured a glass of whiskey, the amber catching the light from the pendant lamp. The first sip burned down my throat, steadying me, but it didn't silence the questions. Why didn't she say we're working late? Why just Joe? My mind painted scenes I didn't want. Her laugh echoing his office, his hand brushing hers over a pile of files, eyes lingering too long. I shook my head, but the images clung like wet clothes. I called her. 1 ring. 2. Then voicemail. This is Elise Harper. Please leave a message. Her voice was professional, bright, a stranger's. I hung up without speaking, my throat tight. I texted instead, "Everything okay?" No reply. By 10:30 I was pacing. The apartment, once our refuge, now felt like a cage. Her coat wasn't on the rack. Forgotten this morning when she rushed out with a distracted kiss. I tried her laptop. The screen woke to a password prompt. When I didn't know, when had she changed it? We used to share everything, passwords, secrets, dreams. Now I was shut out in every way that mattered. I dropped back onto the couch, my hand shaking. The whiskey glass sat empty on the table, sweating into a ring. Pride, or maybe fear, kept me from calling her again. Instead, I opened my own laptop and searched the firm. The website loaded sleek and polished, Joe's face front and center. Joseph R. Caldwell, CO, his smile confident, his eyes predatory, like someone who already knew he'd won. I clicked through event photos, charity galas, office celebrations, and there, Elise in the background, his hand resting casually on her shoulder, her body angled toward him. My chest tightened, Was I imagining it? Or had the truth been hiding in plain sight? At 11:15, headlights swept across the window. My pulse jumped. I pulled the blinds just enough to watch. Her car, but she didn't get out right away. She sat there, head bowed, either texting or crying. When she finally stepped out, her heels tapped against the pavement, a sound I used to love. Tonight, it felt like a countdown. The door opened. There she was, hair slightly mussed, lipstick faded, her blouse wrinkled in a way it hadn't been this morning. "Hey," she said softly, guilty almost, as she dropped her bag and kicked off her shoes, avoiding my eyes. "Long night?" I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. She flinched barely, but enough. "Yeah, the case is brutal. Joe's been pushing us hard." There was again. Joe. His name fell between us like a stone in still water, ripples spreading outward. "You didn't answer my text," I said, arms crossed to steady my trembling hands. She filled a glass of water, her back still to me. "Sorry, got caught up. You know how it is." Her tone was too casual, rehearsed. "Do I?" The word slipped out low, edged with something I couldn't quite name. Hurt, anger, desperation. She turned to face me. Her eyes were tired, but behind them something else lingered, guarded. "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked, setting the glass down harder than necessary. The clink echoed through the silence. I wanted to scream, to accuse, but my voice broke softer, almost pleading. "You're never here, Elise. And when you are, it feels like you're still with him." Her expression shifted, shock, then defiance, then guilt. "You're being ridiculous," she snapped, though her voice cracked. "Joe's my boss. We're working on a case." "That's it. Then why don't I believe you?" I stepped closer. Her perfume lingered, but mixed with something unfamiliar. Cologne? Or just the stench of lies? "Why do you lock your phone? Why do you flinch when I say his name?" She gave a brittle laugh, fragile as glass. "You're paranoid, Matt. You think I'm cheating just because I work late? Because I'm good at my job?" "I think you're hiding something." I shot back, my voice rising. "And I think you've been hiding it for weeks." She froze, lips parting as if to argue, but no words came. Silence. And in that silence, a confession louder than any denial. My heart hammered against my ribs. I wanted her to fight, to prove me wrong. But she just stood there, eyes glistening. "Elise," I whispered, my voice breaking. "Tell me I'm wrong." She looked away, her hands twisting together. She began, then stopped. The air thickened between us, heavy with the words she wouldn't say. Then her phone buzzed on the counter. We both turned. The screen lit up with a name. Joe. The world tilted. She reached for it, but I snatched it first. The text still glowed. Tonight was incredible. Same time tomorrow. The room spun. I looked at her, waiting for a denial, for anything. But her face crumpled. Tears spilled. And in that moment I knew the truth was a blade, sharp and merciless, cutting through everything I thought we were. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered, her voice breaking. "It just did." I set the phone down, my hands numb. The apartment felt foreign, stripped of warmth, stripped of us. I wanted to shout, to smash something, but all I could do was stare at her. This stranger wearing the face of the woman I loved. "Get out," I said, the words burning like ash. She sobbed, reaching for me. I stepped back. The distance between us was a chasm that couldn't be crossed. The door shut behind her with a sound that was final, like the last note of a song. I sank to the floor, the cold tile pressing into my knees, and let the silence devour me.